Hi. Hi. Is this what you get for getting so... Yeah. Did you see me firework you? Really funny, isn't it? Hi. Hello, Blaze. Hello, Innocent. Wing it. Dang it, Grandpa. Why are you a fan? Pickles. Hello. Give it a couple minutes for some people to filter in. It's been a day. It's been a day. Hi. Neko, can I say what for you? You're tired. I'm not gonna wait too long for people to filter in. Just giving everybody like a minute or so. Ooh. Hello, Joey. I probably should be sleeping. I did choose to take a nap earlier instead of doing a bonus stream. I thought about bonus streaming earlier. Both should be sleeping. I took a nap. I did take a nap. You went forever today, though, Wing It. Maybe you should take a nap. You had a great time today? Yeah. Looked like a ton of fun. Alright, here we go. Alright, we were supposed to go get this other ending. Maybe I'll do that later. Maybe. Alright. You're excited because you know what happened. She said nothing as the three of us surround Forte's body. Her bracelet was tinged with the sickening bright pink color that... his bracelet was tinged with the sickening bright pink color that indicated his death status. As if the pools of blood didn't indicate it clearly enough. What the hell happened when we split up? Astonishment painted Missy's face as she took in the scenery. We whipped around to glare at the most damning person. The one drenched in blood. What? Say's detached expression told us nothing. Or, perhaps, everything. I'm sorry. I have no idea what happened. You better not be lying. I'm not... Missy flinched and tenderly tried to cover her wound. Investigate as you wish. I will not stop you. I need to clean this up. Missy tottered through the elevator and into the infirmary on the other side, leaving us with the victim and Say. So, care to share anything, Say? I didn't think so. This is a mess. No kidding. Wing It just got 4D chest over here. Good night, Wing It. Wow. Is it really up to us to investigate? We were just about the furthest away from the crime. How could we begin to infer what happened what occurred 4 floors above? It's only up to us. Does it look like either Say or Missy are gonna fess up? They're covered in blood. Yeah. You're right. At the very least, we were together with Gaia, so that solidifies our alibis somewhat. Having said that, Kanon was still nowhere to be found. Could it be? Then let's get to it. Okay. That's true. Cherry did do it to you last turn. Last stream. Oh boy. It looks like he was stabbed multiple times before the culprit plunged the dagger firmly in one spot. Surrounding the dagger stuck in his body, Forte had several tears in his shirt, exposing the lacerations in his abdomen underneath. The lacerations were noticeably clustered around the abdominal area. Behind Forte's head was a sizable pool of blood. It's possible he fell backward and the back of his head split from impact. The thought was upsetting. Forte's body was laying face up, with a familiar dagger stuck in his abdomen. Hello, okay. That's Darling's dagger. If this scenario were anything like the scenario when I went with Missy to investigate, I could only assume the dagger came from her possession. But why did Missy herself suffer a huge slash? I don't see anything else here, I don't think. Oh. Say was motionless and expressionless. She hasn't said anything. She didn't dare look at anything except the body that lay before her. I didn't know where to begin with questioning her. I didn't want to suspect her, but it was difficult to think otherwise. She didn't appear to make any attempt in hiding her involvement either. I stammered for a minute before giving up entirely. So, what's the big idea, Say? Saying nothing just makes you more suspicious, you know. Well, it certainly doesn't make her any less suspicious either. Sure, but blood makes a compelling case in favor of suspicion of murder. Huh. Thanks for nothing. Any thoughts? Just the one that says the culprit. Seems plainly clear enough, but does that seem like something she would do? Well, who knows? It's likely that while the other group was investigating, something occurred that provoked her. Oh, I figured you might know a little more about her since you two have been talking lately. It's nothing like that. She doesn't talk much. I usually just think out loud to her. As for how she might behave, I can't put a pin on her. So excluding the obvious potential culprit, I'm up a creek. It was only understandable that both of us were stumped. We'll see what changes when Kanon shows up. Dead or alive, that is. You bet it's Missy? Alrighty. It's quite the quick investigation. The scene was gruesome. Despite that, there didn't seem to be much of note. Did you find anything? I have to say I even have half an idea of what happened would be a stretch. There's very little to draw conclusions from. Well, except for... Lyle and I looked at Say. Forte's body, Say's bloodied state, in an essentially locked room. It couldn't be more straightforward. I can't believe this. Is there even a victim report? Maybe if we return to the foyer, we'll find one printed from the kiosk. I'd like to see the victim report as well. I'm displeased to say that I'm unaware of what happened here. Missy returned to the trial grounds from the infirmary, a gauze dressing covering the inflicted wound. As Missy scanned the bloody scene once more, her downcast gaze paused to meet Say's. Say, why don't we get you cleaned up? You're being awfully casual with the culprit. Missy didn't respond. She offered her hand to Say, who stiffly reached up to receive it. The two of them left the crime scene without a word. Were we supposed to stop them? Well, it's not like they'd get very far. Hello, Keaton. I don't even know where to start on how strange this all is. Let's just get down to the foyer and find the victim report. No use standing around a dead body. Zero probably has to clean up this place for the trial anyway. I nodded. Lyle started toward the elevator as I glanced at Forte's body one last time. We took the elevator back down to the foyer once more. Arriving at the foyer, Lyle went straight for the main kiosk. I stepped out to follow, but stopped at a familiar sight. A familiar photograph of Darling was on the floor. It had a small puncture at the top of it. Huh? I've seen this before. It was the same photograph Missy received for her special gift, but this time I wasn't with her when she received it. However, I noticed that the wall near the elevator had a similarly small puncture that matched the photograph. Could it be? The two punctures in the wall in the photograph could be indicative of when Missy pinned the photo on the wall with Darling's dagger like last time. But if the photo is on the floor, a puncture in the wall, and the dagger is in a different place, someone must have taken the dagger out of the wall. What did it mean, if it meant anything at all? Hey, Echo, the victim report is over here. Sorry. Coming. I hustled over to Lyle as he waved the postcard-sized black sheet. Alright, any bets on what this is going to say? Because I have a feeling it's going to twist right here. Body was discovered on the trial grounds. Estimated time of death is 13:45. What? Is that it? Interesting. You're telling me this is completely useless? It doesn't even say cause of death. Yeah, it's all dodgy. I wonder if Gaia had something to do with manipulating the report. You think she had something to do with it? Well, I'm not ruling out the possibility. While Gaia allegedly lost her overseer visibility, it might be possible she had the capability of manipulating the report from the workstation. I grumbled at the thought of another suspicious act. Oh, that reminds me. Kanon is still absent. I hope she's okay. She must be. If she were dead, another victim report would have turned up. That's not very comforting. After our brief discussion about the victim report, Missy and Say emerged from the living quarters, meeting us in the foyer. Say's expression remained as somber as before. Missy's eyes were shifting with unease. The two of them might have cleaned up the mess from the scene before, but whatever was going through their minds continued to darken their faces. The trial might start any minute now. Let's use our time wisely to get information out of those two. Missy first. Missy, are you alright? I'll survive. Fortunately, the cut wasn't too deep. That's a relief. What happened? To be honest, I haven't the foggiest. I can hardly even recall how I ended up where I did. Start from the top. What did your group do when we split up? We visited Cyrus's room as a group to gather information. I used the dagger pommel to knock a doorknob off and unlatch the lock. Inside, we found some files about the preservation project, a class dossier detailing our backgrounds, and some floor plans for the area you visited. After exhausting the files of information, we visited the trial grounds, thinking we could confront the one administering the game. However, Zero was nowhere to be found. We had hit a dead end. Figures. Whoa. Missy's story lined up with striking similarity to what she did when I explored the main floor with her and Forte. If this was true, It's likely I knew exactly what information was detailed thanks to the strange occurrence I had experienced. What do you mean, Joey? They knew that Cyrus was an insider for, the preservation project, so they were getting information out of his room. While we were idling in the trial grounds, the motives directed at Forte and Say came into play. Forte had a bit of a sorrowful look about him when he heard the song, and Say, she got nothing. We had hit a dead end. We searched the most damning places we could in our area, and yet, still yet, nothing cropped up. That said, I decided to employ what I had learned about Say from the files. She has some connection to Zero. Say knows Zero? Oh yeah. The only ones who knew about Say and Zero were the ones who stayed in the foyer and investigated Cyrus's confidential information. Yes. I pleaded for her to share what she knew, that she should admit it for the sake of escaping our enclosure. But rather than assisting, it appears she snuck the dagger from my possession and lashed out at me. Say attacked you? I'm afraid so. I must have said something wrong to provoke her. At that point, all I can recall is toppling back from the sudden offense as Forte put himself between me and Say. She made a threat to harm herself, directing the dagger at herself, after which Forte made a move to take the dagger, but seeing as she's unharmed, it was a false alarm. I probably hit my head, or something, because I must have blacked out until you two came. Missy trailed off. It was discomforting seeing her so unsure. As far as your admission goes, Say was the last one wielding the dagger, the very same one that's planted in Forte's body right now. That is correct. There doesn't seem to be any other conclusion here, is there? This is essentially a locked room murder with only one possible culprit. It would be difficult to contest otherwise. I just wouldn't be able to sit with myself if I really did cause her to spiral this far. Her voice cracked with remorse. I wanted to reassure her that it wasn't her fault, but I didn't want to lie and let anyone down. The situation was getting more and more bleak by the minute. By the way, where is Kanon? Hi, Wing It! Welcome back. You bet it's Missy? See, Missy seems suspicious to me, too. I can't really tell what that is. Hold on. My blind butt over here. What is that? Kinda hard to see when it's compressed. Yeah, kinda. Wish we could tell you. Looks like you didn't see her crawling around up here either. She disappeared while we were investigating beyond the foyer doors. Can't say where she ran off to, though. I see. Her absence during all this is quite disconcerting. Not to mention, I don't seem to have the revolver in my possession anymore. Missy reached into her inner coat pockets and came up short. You have got to be kidding. So the revolver was missing. That, along with Kanon's absence, was cause for concern. What did you two learn in the sequestered floor beneath us? Well, the rooms below are the trophy room and testing chambers. We didn't explore the trophy room, but from the outside look of it, it's a display area for hunting game. However, we found the physical bodies of Zero and Eve, or Akihiko Quartz and Gaia Esper in the testing chambers. Missy, Say, Kanon in that order? Yeah, I think I agree with you, Joey. Oh, so you've learned their identities as well. Yeah, you don't seem surprised. Those two students' profiles are also in the class dossier. Why they were included when they aren't participants is beyond me. You'd think that kind of information would be better hidden. Other than that, we didn't find much else of note. I see. And none of you were near the crime scene at all? No, when the blackout occurred, we were immobilized, stuck in the testing chambers until the lights returned. There was a blackout. I had no idea. I must have hit my head when I was in my daze. I can't help but think I caused a snowball effect with Sei, resulting in Forte's death. Missy grumbled under her breath. She was visibly trying to wrap her head around what we had learned. After learning about the details of Missy's side of events, things were getting more and more tangled up. Sei, are you okay? Did you get hurt or anything?
No, I'm fine.
You're fine. Sei nodded. That's good to hear.
Why do you care?
Well, you're safe. That's always good news. So she came out of that mess completely unscathed. Unlike Missy, who received a nasty scar, and unlike Kanon, who was completely missing. What was going on? Do you have anything to say about being at the crime scene?
No, it should be crystal clear what happened there.
You say that, but... Hi, bye? Okay, Pepe. Welcome in. Goodbye. She's not fine. It's kind of obvious. Yeah. Sei closed her eyes and turned away, ending the conversation promptly. I couldn't bring myself to believe it.
But what? There's nothing more to be said about this, is there? She's asking for this. Shouldn't even be a trial for something as clear as this.
I just don't want to jump to any hasty conclusions, okay? We might suffer the consequences of a poor decision if we go to the most obvious. We had to be careful. The trial was our only chance to clear the confusion, even if it did look clear as day. Echo, a word? After talking to Missy and Sei, Lyle and I shuffled off for a sidebar. I wonder what could have put everyone in such a precarious situations.
Never mind that. We have a very clear culprit here, don't you agree? If we point out who it is right away, the answers will come spilling out.
Thanks for lurking. I don't know if it's as simple as you think it is.
Don't get all competitive on me.
Look, it's dangerous to make assumptions. I don't want to suffer needless consequences if we can help it.
I get that, but don't discount a healthy suspicion. There's no use in blindly following someone's word and word alone. Especially when one's adrenaline starts messing with their perception of the situation. The facts can get muddled up.
Agreed. We've experienced it personally. Lyle and I were on the same page. Although our approaches were different, the only thing we had going forward was our intuition. We have to put our heads together. We won't get anywhere if we don't work together. I hope I can count on you for help.
Likewise, but I can't promise anything. Where on earth is Kanon, though?
Last I recall, she has been acting a little worrisome since last night. And I don't think it helped her frustrations that you tried to take her camera. Lyle shot me a dark look for a second before casting his gaze under heavy eyelids. Funny enough, intuition is more often than not right in Danganronpa games. You're right. That's true.
She's not the most trustworthy, okay? Running around doing who knows what. Well, I shouldn't stir the pot, I suppose.
Afraid of being in small places with a lot of Santas. You might be claustrophobic. I sighed. I couldn't disagree with Lyle's stance, but Kanon did make an attempt to cheer me up somewhat. I couldn't flat out accuse Lyle. I couldn't help but think her behavior... I couldn't help but think her behavior was the result of me rejecting her photograph.
It's that time, folks! Class trial time! The elevator will take you to the courtroom once everyone is entered. Not that there are much of you left.
The four of us sulked into the elevator once more, the doors sliding to a close as we anxiously stood by for whatever discoveries we would make in the courtroom. We stood in the elevator cab, unmoving.
Geez, what's going on this time?
It's waiting for everybody. The door slid open once more. Hi, Kanon. Kanon crept onto the elevator. The doors finally closed and the elevator began to move. She was alive, thankfully. Kanon!
Where the hell have you been?
We didn't hear a single breath from her. Her silence was deafening. She faced away from the rest of us, completely unreadable. Kanon was alive, after all. But her behavior after last night and her absence during this whole mess, it was worrisome. Kanon, I whispered, but she didn't react at all. Kanon made a haunting re-entry. Given what we knew about the revolver gone missing and Kanon's disappearance from the testing chambers moments before the body announcement, was I too late? Was this my fault? There we go. Ad break is about to start on Twitch. She didn't turn. Kanon, I was cold too last night.
You don't have to apologize. I ought to be the one who's sorry.
Kanon's voice was hushed. Huh?
I'm sorry.
But you don't have anything to be sorry for. I'm the one who tore your well-intentioned photo in half. Kanon? What did she mean I ought to be the one who's sorry? The atmosphere was disquieting. No one said a word. We stoically reserved all our inquiries for the upcoming trial. Oh, interesting that this is considered a different chapter. Any guesses? Well, considering that it refused to give us an actual, like... Actually, hold on. Can I... This, even if I pull up the log, it's not going to show me the... Hold on. It's not going to show me what I want to see. So, given the fact that the gun is missing... and it wouldn't tell us what the cause of death was, something tells me that he didn't die from a stab wound. And I'm even more willing to bet that more than one person attempted to kill him. Whether that's Missy and Say, whether that's Say and Kanon, whether that's Missy and Kanon. I don't know. But I'm willing to bet that more than one person attempted to kill him. There were a lot of wounds there, and none of our people are medical people, so I think it would have been hard for them to determine that one of those wasn't a stab wound just by looking at it. Twitch just loves to push monster drinks. Too sugary for you. Listen. Oh, he can't listen. He's watching an ad. I'll say it in a minute. Another visit to the trial grounds. Of course, the body's gone. Ooh. The music. Every trace of the crime scene had been removed, as if nothing happened. However, I still saw the faint, phantom image of blood painting the floor burn the back of my eyes. The 5 of us stepped in warily, footsteps echoing in the chamber as we habitually navigated to our respective stands in silence. Another trial. Oh, what a good track. So, Keaton, I was saying about the monster drinks. Twitch has got a lot of gamers. This is a gaming stream. Is this track fan-made? I'm pretty sure this is from V3. Pretty sure. Another trial. When we split up, our groups had discovered a slew of information that attempted to explain our captivity. But in spite of making these discoveries that we thought would help us prevent further danger, another one of our group has fallen. That sounds delicious. Space Ghost. I love listen. I know that this is a weird flavor combination, but coffee ice cream with cherry hard dip. I promise, it's so good. So a coffee cherry sort of flavor, delicious. Why is Gaia a hologram now? Probably because we released her from the program. It is unfortunate that I must greet y'all like this. Welcome back to the Tile Grounds. A fuzzy hologram of Gaia appeared before us.
Oh, you're here too. Sure, whatever. Showing your face isn't really gonna change anything, you know. Wah!
Gaia. Coffee plus Swiss Miss is best. Oh, yes, Remnant. Absolutely, yes. I actually have coffee and Swiss Miss downstairs for the weekend. I'm gonna get myself like real junked up on some of that. Yum. Gaia, do you know anything about what happened to Forte?
Can't say I do. Please consider my presence an asset to your discussion. Should you need any inquiries answered, I will do my best.
Swiss Miss is a hot chocolate mix, Keaton. Circus animal cookie milkshake. Oh, yummy. A holiday Dunkaroo. Oh my god, please. I need some of these flavors in my life.
This one's been nothing but useless.
If anything, I would posit that Zero will, at the very least, respect my testimony.
What makes you think you can pull the wool over our eyes? What if you two are colluding? Ha! You give her too much credit. At this point, she's nothing but an obstacle.
Zero's dead unless it's already been revealed or something. So we did discover Zero's body, basically, in a pod. And he's, like, deteriorating. Like, his condition's deteriorating. He's in, like, critical condition. Like, his personality is being absorbed by the system, from what I understand.
Eve, or rather as you know her now, Gaia, knows zilch. I'm the only one who knows for certain whether all of you will be voting correctly or incorrectly. After all, what kind of judge would I be if I didn't know? Freeing Gaia meant stripping her of her prize.
Huh?
But we're not here to talk about that. So, let's get this show on the road.
Okay.
Let's go over the rules, shall we? You're all on trial to figure out who the culprit is of today's heinous crime. The rules are as follows. Discuss, discover, and determine who is the culprit among your group. Majority vote will seal the individual's fate, and we'll just see what happens from there, yeah? One of few outcomes will occur.
This is just I'm gonna skip this because this is just padding. We already know this. Okay.
Our victim today is Forte Solo, the ultimate opera singer. It's a real shame we never got to hear that bass baritone voice of his. C'est la vie. So you know what to do. I'm sure you'll get this one done with real quick.
Zero chuckled to himself after his brisk opening statement. We all stared at each other from the circumference of the stands, our eyes locking onto the most suspicious. Yummy, yummy.
Don't brace your breathlessness. There's an obvious answer.
Is that so?
Let us be the judge of that.
This case is going to be difficult, but we need to try. Hello, Guy. And though I desperately wish this wouldn't happen again, a culprit must be found.
First things first, we can't ignore the fact that Sei was right in the middle of the crime scene, drenched in blood, presumably from the victim himself.
Please, I'm sorry.
It is ineffable, the sheer amount of evidence proving that you are at fault for this.
Make your own judgment.
Fine, there's no way around the fact that no one else would have killed Forte, but I suppose I'll entertain you. Let's clear up everyone's alibi. When the 6 of us split up, the 2 groups were as follows. Missy, Forte, and Sei went to investigate the doors we've seen. Kanon, Echo, and I went to investigate beyond the foyer doors. Here is when Gaia's statement will prove useful.
Yeah. It did get me copyrighted. Yeah, thanks. It's free use copyright, but like, you know what I mean. Yeah, me, Lyle, and Kanon were together with her for the majority of the afternoon down in the testing chambers.
That is correct. I have not left the testing chambers since my release. As for supporting Lyle and Echo's statement, I did not see anyone leave the testing chambers. Nevertheless, I unfortunately took no notice of when Kanon supposedly left.
Yeah, Kanon, you managed to slip out unnoticed while Lyle and I spoke to Gaia. Where did you go?
I had to step out. Step out? And where to? Back to the main wing so you could sneak around and plot something on your own?
Kanon in the main wing. If she were involved in Forte's murder, she never even made herself known during our journey. The 3 of us didn't see a trace of her as we explored the rooms, and only the 3 of us went up the elevator before Forte's demise. So only the 3 of you went up. Missy, is there anything else you can tell us about your group's exploration? Forte's no longer in this world, and
Sei is obvious culprit number 1.
And Sei might be unreliable.
Doesn't the blood speak for itself?
Sei, one moment. Yeah, so we're all thinking that Sei's too obvious. I'd hate to commit to a conclusion so hastily, so I'd like to know what occurred leading to the events that caused my side of investigation to unravel so grievously. The 3 of us moved as one unit in the main wing for the entirety of our investigation. Like I said, we all entered the trial grounds together.
And?
Well, I cannot speak more plainly about what occurred after, though I wish more than anything it were untrue. But that wish is nothing but dust. The slash that has been carved in proves this. Sei turned the dagger on me.
Clear as day. Sei Kono is the culprit behind Forte Solo's murder.
Hold it. If you asked me to act right now, I wouldn't lay a vote against Sei. I was the only one present when she made her assault. I should know what her motive to cause harm was, and I say it was not with murderous intent.
Sei still harmed you, though. That action alone could be indicative of more. Case in point, the very poignant murder of Forte. Are you protecting her? What do you even have to gain from doing something like that?
Hang on, if Missy has an explanation, we should hear her out. I'm still apprehensive about voting too quickly, especially when we haven't yet established any rhyme or reason. Indeed, my testimony is not driven by want to gain anything except the truth. Would I not be endangering myself if I voted against Say?
Ah. See where this is going. Knowing how tiresome you all are, you want to dig in for a reason behind these sorts of things, despite seeing that the conclusion could not be more telling. Fine, let's talk motivation. Just cut to the chase, will ya?
It may be. I don't know, Guy. Ooh, sorry. Excuse me. Lyle is so certain, for real. It would be helpful, after all. Zero explicitly delivered motivations in different targeted ways over the course of the afternoon. Motivations. What could have caused Say to turn the dagger against Missy, and possibly against Forte as well? And did hearing the other motivations cause someone else to behave differently? Hopefully, in turn, we might also get an answer to Lyle's question of what Missy might have to gain if she potentially were protecting Say. Let's see what everyone has to say about their specific motives. My motive? It was a photograph. My motive, along with Kanon's, was delivered shortly after our two groups parted ways. A photograph, the bloodied portrait of a friend, whom the dagger once belonged. Say, the announcement didn't direct any sort of gift to you.
That's right.
And Lyle, your motive?
It was the result of the blackout. It was the blackout, a result of my fear of the dark.
Let's see what okay, A photograph, but I thought she didn't look at hers.
We know that much. Care to expound on what the photograph is?
No, I didn't look at it.
You want us to suspect you? For all we know, you could have been planning something from the moment you received the photograph.
Lyle, hang on. If Missy said she didn't see Kanon around, it's not fair to call Kanon the culprit right away.
I still think there's something strange going on about her not being around when the lights went out.
Though she claimed she didn't look at the motive photograph, Kanon's absence during a majority of the afternoon was concerning. Okay. Missy withdrew the sheathed dagger she clung on to after the second trial. I admit I was overcome with a zealousness to confront the one we call Puppet Master, pinning the mocking photo on the wall outside the elevator with the dagger. How the dagger ended up on the trial grounds as the murder weapon, I can only suspect that Say discreetly retrieved it from the wall and concealed it on her person before attacking me in a state of panic.
So we're able to trace the dagger's origin to you, but you claim to have left it as a wall adornment before entering the elevator.
Correct. I still wasn't sure if I could write off the conditions of Missy's wound just yet, but Missy not initially taking the dagger with her into the trial grounds seems intentional somehow. It does kind of. Okay. That's true. Forte's Solomon song was announced first, and Say's announcement of nothing followed shortly.
Did she react to the message in any way?
She didn't react in any particular manner, no.
Nothing is only fitting for me.
Is that so? It's possible that Say being left out might have left an impression on her. And Lyle, your motive? Fear of the dark. Darkness. I wasn't aware something like that occurred. Yeah, but if you don't have any remembrance of it, it might have lasted for the duration of when you were knocked out. I see.
What does my motive have to do with the case anyway? We already discussed that me, Gaia, Echo, and Gaia were all together on the floor beneath the foyer, nowhere near the trial grounds.
Well, we have to assume it affected the entire building, and that the group upstairs also lost their visibility. The darkness occurring has to have some bearing onto the timeline of events. Say, do you recall a blackout occurring?
Can't believe I still have to ask, but care to elaborate at all?
It's unimportant. Is that so? But during the moment before Gaia found the flashlight, it was too dark to even see my own hand in front of my face. How would it have been possible for anyone to do anything without visibility? Based on the murder scene, we had a glaringly obvious culprit. But none of us could understand why Sei would act in such a way. To make things more confusing, Sei's the only one without a properly delivered motive. The timing and respective intensity of each individual motive. It must create some volatility in our headspaces as far as I can tell. It's a little tough to follow which ones are and aren't relevant. Though, now that I think about it, what if announcing them was the purpose of the motives?
What? Announcing the motives? Why would someone else's motive affect anyone but the person it's meant for?
Yeah, Joey, so I'm kind of thinking that Missy kind of like goaded Sei into stabbing him so that she could do something else. Maybe.
Why would someone else's motive affect anyone but the person it's meant for?
Well, I was just thinking. I didn't receive a personalized motive either, but to hear that everyone got something that would try to provoke them to murder, wouldn't that be frightening? To hear who has motives and a reason to kill, you'd feel tormented that others could turn on you. That's all I can think of. Sei received her motive last, at least before Lyle's blackout.
In that case, we're back to square one. Sei is the culprit. You just explained a reason why she would be motivated to kill despite not receiving a personalized motive herself. She heard all the motives previous to hers and must have been shaken by the potential of everyone turning on her.
Well, it's possible, but...
No buts! If you need more proof, let's move on. With the event of Missy's claim of Sei's attack in mind, the next topic is obvious.
She planned to take Sei to... Yeah. Maybe, Joey, maybe.
That is, the state of Forte's body.
Yeah, the victim report was extremely non-specific. More than previous. Vague. On purpose, most likely. There was an innumerable amount of stab wounds in his abdomen, likely from the dagger before it was finally stuck in his body. Stabbed. I thought... Ah-ha-ha! Kanon quickly fell silent. Kanon, you want to tell me what you did?
Something you want to share?
Oh, that's right. Kanon, you didn't even see the body, did you? No, I didn't see the body. Then is something wrong? Nothing's wrong.
Then why are you so shocked that Forte was stabbed? You clearly know something.
Lyle, ease back. But please, Kanon, if you notice something odd, we need your help. Something odd? Something odd? My help? It's... What?! What? Plot twist indeed. What? I kind of expected Missy having shot Forte, but Kanon. I shot Forte. You did what?
Kanon? That's what you were up to. You better explain yourself. Not only was the revolver out of Missy's hands when we met up with her, You have no alibi whatsoever.
Tin Kanon, shoot it, can't. Oh my god, please. I would hope Kanon isn't as contemptuous the person you think she is to deny information as critical as this when cornered. What? You don't know what's going on? Well, we found Forte with a bunch of stab wounds. I did read it out, Cryo. I've been reading out everything. It's not camp. Ha ha ha, Keaton. So basically, we found Forte, his body filled with stab wounds. And now Kanon's claiming that she shot him. So... ever since he came back to... Was Forte shot in the back of the head? Oh, maybe, Joey. There was that pool of blood in the back of his head. You're right. I must know as well. When did you come to the foyer? And to what end did the revolver's last bullet entreat to have finally been spent? Kanon freely admitted she caused harm to Forte, but to know why she meant to do such a thing caused an anticipation to rise in my chest.
I've been suspicious of Say.
I've been suspicious of Say for a while.
I had either a strange intuition or just another strain of bad luck led me on. What made me act was finally seeing that mystery announcer in the testing chambers. Echo and Lyle discovered Gaia, the voice behind Eve. So naturally, the other encapsulated person must be Say's connection.
Okay.
Well, what made you suspect Zero and Say had a connection to begin with?
I noticed her reaction at the first Killing Game announcement.
She was transfixed on that voice as if she heard it before. It's a small detail, but I couldn't shake it. From day one, I've only ever been suspicious of her. By laying low, she was playing the long game. But that plan had to backfire eventually, right? So I slipped out while Gaia, Echo, and Lyle were talking. I had to investigate my apprehensions about her. Returning to the foyer, I moved warily. But I didn't find any trace of them on the first floor. The only thing I found was a photo on the floor and a puncture mark in the wall near the elevator. I just missed them.
No, I don't think Say was the mastermind.
I noticed the elevator was at the trial grounds. I called for the elevator to follow after. Upon my arrival, the doors opened, and Missy was suddenly flung into the elevator cab with me. She just dropped in, bloodied and her head hung low. I thought she might have been dead. I looked in to see who her assailant was and saw Say and Forte in the middle of a struggle. Even though Forte had a dagger in his hand, Say was the one with blood all over her hands. He must have pulled the weapon away from her just after her attack. My suspicions about Say were confirmed. She was under our noses the whole time, waiting for the right moment to strike. Missy's revolver had fallen out of her coat pocket. I grabbed it and didn't think twice. I fired towards Say. Well, I thought I did. The lights went out seconds after. I couldn't see where my shot landed. I couldn't run in and check either since the elevator shut in my face and mechanically returned me and Missy to the foyer. I ran. A shot was fired, Missy was unconscious, and a blackout overtook everything. Does that statement help? There we have it, a confession.
Oh, what? Wait.
Wait for what? Is there any reason for us not to accept this as the truth?
Well, no, but Kanon said she fired the revolver. A gun wound? Where? And that doesn't even explain the lacerations. We can't ignore the one thing the Monokuma file detailed for us. There has to be some relevance. It's within reason for me to doubt that fact. Aren't I?
Oh, I can explain then.
What? How?
Because I stabbed him in the abdomen after he was shot. What?
Why?
Huh. There's no use hiding it since you confessed. Truthfully, I couldn't believe it at first, but seeing how desperate she was, I ultimately wanted to help Kanon escape.
Huh?
After I witnessed Kanon shoot Forte from the elevator, he fell quickly, and I saw his bracelet turn pink. I realized that because she wasn't with Lyle or Echo, Kanon would be the most likely implicated as the culprit, so I did what I had to do. I stabbed Forte's body several times near the gunshot wound to conceal it, making it look like he had died of blood loss from lacerations rather than the shot. And since I was the only one on the trial grounds, the blame would be redirected to me. After all, Kanon wants to leave just as much as any of us. Why not give her the advantage?
Ooh, we are having an ad break Twitch side in a minute. No way.
So Kanon became the culprit without even seeing her victim fall.
Is that it? Well, I don't believe... No, so now I believe that Sei is the one that killed him. I don't think it was Kanon. I think that Sei is lying about when the bracelet turned pink. Is that it?
I can't argue with that. I didn't even see whether he or not he died.
Right, which wound caused the death, exactly. But you're just going to accept it?
All I know is that I fired a shot and someone ended up dead. What else is there to say?
And unfortunately, as far as we know, the surrounding conditions of Forte's death are indisputable.
And Sei is the only eyewitness.
But is that really all there is to it? Given that ultimately I wound up in the foyer, it stands to reason that Kanon indeed visited the trial grounds, causing the elevator cab to go back up and bring me back down after the assault. This is giving you flashbacks to the Nagito trial? It kinda is. You think we're gonna have another branching path soon? And you witnessed that I did not find the revolver on my person after I awoke. I can't argue with that, but...
Listen to you. It's all been laid out on the table. I'm not hiding anything this time. You want to keep going with this discussion because the truth is hard to swallow, is that it? I have news to you. These trials are full of impossible to accept facts. I'm sorry for continuing this vicious cycle, so won't you just allow me to leave with whatever is left of my dignity? Just let me receive punishment already.
No, that's not it at all. I just...
If there's something bothering you, just spit it out already.
I couldn't help but think there was something missing. I was racking my head for an answer. For something. This story just feels so off to me. I just don't know why.
Everything's out in the open. What else is there to deliberate?
Nothing. Don't be a coward and just vote me off already. If there's no proof of the culprit, then you're just endangering yourself with an incorrect vote. I'm sure there's something else we can talk about that can save you. Kanon, don't you care that you could be executed?
Of course I care. But who am I to argue with these facts? They're impossible to dispute. It's my punishment, isn't it? It's only fair I get what I deserve. I can't fight it.
I didn't know what to think. None of us had an inkling of what truly occurred on the trial grounds. Kanon admitted she shot Forte. Sei claims the shot is what killed him. Sei masked the gun wound by stabbing Forte several times, allowing Kanon a clean getaway. But since Kanon unexpectedly confessed, there was no reason for Say to keep secret the fact that she disturbed the crime scene, making it appear the way it did. All I could do is take their word as truth. Right? She was half in and out of the elevator. Kanon and Say's testimonies were the only things we had to work with. Yet, I couldn't help but feel like there was much more to this. I was struggling to find the truth in this trial, but would it lead me to a dead end? A dead end? Missy said something like that when I went with her and Forte the first time. We ran into a dead end of sorts when we were investigating the courtroom. We couldn't find Zero or any other hints. And then, we were killed one by one shortly thereafter. But something inexplicable occurred as my consciousness faded. I returned to the time before we split into two groups. Yeah, she was leaned against the door of the elevator, which is why the elevator couldn't close and couldn't go up or down, was because the door couldn't shut, therefore basically locking it from anybody getting past her. This time, when I went with Lyle's group, I had information I never could have known if I didn't go with Missy's group first. I knew the testing chamber's code somehow, and the Pandora's incubated sister was Gaia, the ultimate cartographer. Was it possible that I needed to pursue this dead end? Oh. I grit my teeth. I had an absurd idea. The discussion's over. There's nothing wrong. Kanon's the culprit. I looked over at my classmates who had the same painted, startled expression at the finality of my decision. All of them were shocked except Say. That's right. Nothing is wrong. Zero silently obliged, calling forward the vote screens to the other students. Everyone was dumbfounded, but with no other option laid before them, only one vote was to be made. Okay.
Off way to Zane, Kanon. Thank you for all your hard work.
The room shook as the walls behind Kanon opened to reveal its dark depths. Kanon herself simply turned from her place at the stands and walked into the shadow. This is it. I fled from my stand, my feet pounding as they carried me toward the hallway behind the walls. What on earth are you doing?
What on earth are you doing?
Paid no attention to Gaia's call. I was pursuing that dead end. I slipped in, Gaia's startled exclamation along with the others' shocked cries echoing through the halls just before the walls shut. Oh, this is cool! My head was thrashing from fear. Each breath I took was heavier than the last. I threw myself into an execution. Kanon! I cautiously stepped forward, a veil of darkness causing me to lose all my bearings. Echo, what the hell are you doing here? I blindly chased after Kanon's voice, each step taking enormous effort as I fought against all my instincts of self-preservation. This isn't right. What do you mean? You all voted for this. This is my punishment, isn't it? I was closing in on her.
That's right. This is your punishment. This is everyone's punishment.
Wait, what? Whirring machinery clicked into place as bursts of light flooded the room. The powerful lights bled through my closed eyelids, burning the back of my head. With each flash, the sound of an object darting through the air hit the floor before us, each shot approaching our very location. No, 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 no! Kanon's cry pealed out amidst the sound of gunfire? Ah! All I could see between the firing flashes was the silhouette of her body convulse violently, each hit pulling her body apart. A sharp object nearly darted past me, tearing through my coat and breaking skin. Blood began to ooze from the cut. I heard Kanon collapse before me. I started toward the sound and tried to find her, guiding my hand through the darkness in vain. Pinpricks met my hand. Needles. I felt around and picked one up. It was a small, near-invisible thing on its own. But when shot at high speeds, the needles became lethal. Ooh. Another series of flashes fired up, blinding me. Between flashes, I saw the mangled body that used to be Kanon, a now disfigured, bloody mass. The metallic taste of blood filled my mouth as I began to choke. A sharp pain melted its way through my throat. I buckled immediately. Pangs of anguish overwhelmed my senses. If I was wrong about this, if I was terribly, absurdly, ridiculously wrong, then I just put my life in danger for nothing. But... following this dead end, there had to be something strange. Oh god, that noise. I lost my grip on the situation. I only felt pain. The terrible sensation sank into my blood. An inflaming ache rushed through every inch of my body. Time to shift echo indeed. Oh, 7 the ultimate meme.
If there's something bothering you, just spit it out already.
Hi, Matt Prokopak. Hi. How are you? Feel like it's been a while. Oh, we did. We went back in time. Fantastic. I grasped at my throat. My skin was undamaged. Oh god, that noise. Only the startling phantom pain of a needle pierced my throat remained. How have you been? How's everybody been? I feel like I didn't ask that today. I'm sorry. I wiped the sweat from my brow and met the gaze of concerned faces staring back from my explanation. Kanon, alive once more, rivaled my panicked gaze with her own stoic expression just a few feet away from me. She was still waiting for our vote. That pitch sound is absolutely awful, Keaton. I agree. Are you okay? Swallowing hard, I finally realized the purpose of these harrowing, strange occurrences. They gave me a glimpse of everything that could go wrong. Somehow, I had managed to escape death twice. Yeah, I'm asking now. Why was I able to experience an alternate history like that? I couldn't begin to fathom an explanation. I was trembling. My heart was hammering in my chest. But if this were anything like the moments before entering the testing chambers... I steadied my breathing. There had to be something useful in that moment of time between coming to a consensus on the culprit and being executed. If I gather what I learned from the two occurrences ending in death, perhaps I can put together a picture of what could have occurred. As far as the group were aware, the only clues we had to work with were found on the crime scene, and there weren't many to begin with. Forte's body had multiple lacerations clustered in one area, due to Say's hiding the gunshot wound inflicted by Kanon. He also had a small pool of blood near the back of his head. However, the other source of blood near the back of his head was what bothered me. Neither of them killed him! Nothing clearly visible caused it. It was a needle! A needle to like oh! I didn't know how to explain the life-saving phenomenon I had just experienced. But I knew I had to take the opportunity it gave me to find the truth. It is a case of the mastermind is the murderer here. So what I think just happened, when in doubt, choose none of the above. Okay, so what my theory is before we get into this, Zero killed him. Yeah, Zero killed him with the needles. That's what I think happened. That is what I think happened. Very cool. Look, I still don't think we have the full picture. Please, I can't vote for Kanon. So you're implicating Say as well? Not exactly. But her presence is important. Okay, basically, from what I understand, the process of what happened goes like this. Sei attacked Missy. Kanon comes down the elevator. Missy gets pushed in. Sei fires gun, possibly at Forte. Blackout happens immediately afterwards. Blackout happens, doors shut. The hole in the wall where the executions happen splits open, shoots Forte with a needle to like the spinal cord, like basically like the back of his head, killing him, and closes back up. I think they hit the back of his neck. Yeah. And then Sei, assuming that Kanon's gunshot is what killed him, because maybe it did hit him, then stabs him a bunch. Either because she, either she did cover it up because she wanted to help Kanon, or the gunshot did not hit him, and Zero, being someone that Sei knew well, because we know that Sei and Akihiko Quartz were friends, and Akihiko Quartz is who is embodying the Zero part of the AI program, instructed her to take the victory, to win the ultimate prize, to be with him. This is where my theory sits.
If you think something's missing, then just shout it out. We won't know what's going on in that head of yours if you keep stopping the trial for no reason.
That's the problem. I don't know where to start. I couldn't yet sway the group with the absurd notion that Kanon would be wrongfully executed. I didn't have the means to explain how I knew such a thing. I just think we ought to continue deliberating the details. There's something bothering me. If you could just entertain me with this, I'd like to further address the lacerations. While Kanon admitted she shot Forte, she didn't know whether or not it was the shot that killed him for certain.
I saw her shoot him.
But let's say the shot itself didn't kill him right away. As far as I could tell, the stab wounds and the subsequent hidden gun wound weren't near his vitals. They were around his lower abdomen. And remember, the condition for lifting the darkness was to kill. Kanon, when did the lights go out?
They went out seconds after I fired, and just before the elevator doors closed on me. The elevator was still working, though. I couldn't see a thing, but I felt the cab move, bringing me back down to the foyer without a hitch. After I arrived on the foyer level, I waited out the darkness in the elevator cab before running off to the atrium.
She waited out the darkness, and darkness fell seconds after she fired. Lyle, we were just as immobilized in the testing chambers as Kanon was in the elevator cab and had to wait out the darkness as well, so...
That means Forte wasn't killed instantly. Sei must have taken advantage of his injured state, taking the dagger from him with little resistance, and retaliated. He must have fallen weak from Kanon's chance shot, and when the lights went out, Sei stabbed him, finishing off to lift the darkness.
Oh boy. How was my weekend? My weekend was pretty decent, I think. How about you? Your love for Pam knows no boundaries. ER, there's something wrong with you. I hope that someday soon you get the help you need. I'm kidding. Honestly, your fervent love for a disliked member of the community is insane to me. Cheers.
In that case, what you said about covering for Kanon was a lie.
So you really stabbed Forte to death?
Yes, he knows it. Kanon saw it too.
I saw?
I turned the dagger on Missy first. She has the scar to prove it. Forte would be next.
What are you talking about? I only saw Forte with the dagger facing off against you.
Then when did Sei acquire the dagger? If Forte didn't push Missy away in time, she would have fallen instead.
No, you can't mean that.
And why not? I planned that attack after I saw you pin the dagger into the wall. I took it.
If you were planning to attack, why didn't you do one sooner? You had a perfectly opportune time when we were all in the elevator going to the trial grounds.
You're asking why I didn't attack sooner.
Well, whoa. Okay, thing. It's just moving ahead without me.
What was stopping you from doing so at every private opportunity?
I'm challenging you to convince me of your malicious intent. It's not something I wish to hear, but... Whoa. Oh, how did I turn the auto on? No? Off? Okay. I don't even know.
This doesn't make sense. Why would Say protect me only to endanger herself?
That's enough. We're not getting anywhere like this.
But this is discussion. It's impossible to make heads or tails of it. We had a culprit pinned from the start. Say. We drew out the trial only for Kanon to take ownership of a hidden gun wound, and now we really are back to square one. Say met the requirement for lifting darkness and hid the gun wound so we would vote wrong. Neither me, Missy, nor Echo were at the scene, so basing our conjecture on the testimonies of the two most suspicious people it's impossible. Damn it, how can we possibly find the truth based on their word and word alone?
I understood Lyle's frustration, but... barring all discussion so far, there has always been an obvious culprit staring right at our face. But something inside me kept resisting the easy answer. I simply couldn't accept Say as the culprit. This chapter, yeah. I had to think. Those strange occurrences ending in death. I learned something I normally would not have. With no tangible proof of what I needed to express, I put faith in the facts learned from my memory of events, hoping something would work out. I put my faith in believing no one here could kill, not after what happened twice already. Just why did I experience those strange occurrences? In the two scenarios, my life was gravely threatened. And yet, I still stood here, with the memories of those events. After all, they had to happen for a reason, right? It was far-fetched, but I had to utilize what I learned, with hopes that the facts learned would guide me in the right direction. I have to think about what I've come to know. Oh boy, here we go. The information I learned when we visited Cyrus's room. It was about the killing game. The game was an experiment to see who would survive and win, to overcome other ultimate students. In the game, participants were paired with other close students to create friction between relations. The game was set up to sow chaos and disorder. Sei was listed alongside the former student Akihiko, now known to us as Zero. After Missy, Forte, and I came to a dead end in our search, we discovered Kanon had been killed. Missy and Forte fell shortly after, and then I, at the last one standing, heard the voice of the assailant, Sei. She pleaded for escape, but in my near-death haze, I could recall Zero himself telling Sei, "You don't want the prize." That, even after eliminating everyone, killing wasn't the answer. I was whisked back in time somehow, back to the decision that would bring me to this point, alive. Those were things I learned before falling to my demise. Falling for a sparse moment, that is. Finding new life mysteriously bequeathed on me, I wandered a different path, utilizing information I learned from my previous experience. And that information had led me, us, here to contemplate another murder. Foolish to think that the experience would be my last, as I would come to relive near death once again when our discussion became deadlocked. This time I risked emulating that strange dead-end occurrence to pursue the thing I believed was missing from Forte's murder. It was a brief experience, but I saw the method Zero used to dispose of Kanon. Small, near-invisible needles shot at high speed, and little else before returning here. The truth felt close, but I felt an apprehension rising in my chest. Say, tell me, what happened after Kanon shot Forte?
What happened?
I stabbed Forte! How many times do I have to tell you? You stabbed Forte, but did you kill him?
Isn't it obvious?
It's not. Kanon claims that before she shot you, Forte was the last one in possession of the dagger. The lights went out shortly after, and from that point, no one can really say who had the dagger. And though the dagger was plunged into Forte's abdomen, giving us the impression of it being the murder weapon, I can't help but think otherwise. Primarily because of the scenario we found ourselves in. There was consistent pressure to put on us with the personalized motives spread throughout our exploration. That is, until Lyle's final personalized motive. With a heavy darkness to stroke our fear, we would soon be scrambling until someone acted maliciously from the previously set pressure. But I couldn't even see my own hand in front of my face, let alone begin to think of a plan to kill and get away with it. So to carry it out to fruition would be near impossible. If the entire building was indeed plunged in such thick darkness, I can't help but think, how could any of us have killed Forte? That's interesting phrasing.
Yeah, what are you on to?
Echo's finally long. Recall when our group split, Zero mentioned something interesting.
So y'all decided to split up, huh? That's alright. No sweat off my back. Figuratively speaking, obviously. Thanks to your fancy bracelets, I can still locate where you are. There's no escaping for you quite yet.
It seems he's able to know our whereabouts within the building. In this case, he was able to locate us from our bracelets. Are you implying?
Jesus fuck, Cryo!
God damn it, hun! It actually got me. Are you implying Zero has taken moves to actively, though discreetly, participate in the game with us? There's no going back. Yes, I believe Zero might have had a hand in killing Forte.
Huh? That's nonsense! Have you lost your mind? Where are you getting this theory? I know you want us to entertain you, but this is a little much, isn't it?
Lyle, please. I know it's a lot to ask, but I want you to trust me.
I'd like to hear where you're getting this funny idea as well, Echo.
Lyle's intense leer burned through me, but he fell silent and allowed me to continue. He must be observing my next unpredictable move, just like when I suggested knowing the testing chamber's code. Zero idly gazed back at me, a complete poker face masking whatever scheme he was plotting. I felt a strange sense of conviction that connecting an execution method with the mysterious pool of blood that was behind Forte's head would lead me to the answer I was seeking. I had to use what I learned from Kanon's execution dead end, the fact that Zero prepared a barrage of needles. It's like Missy said, the more he talks, the faster his options will diminish. If Zero's readying himself for an explanation, this was my opening to draw something out from him. Zero, I want the truth. The truth that you're the one behind this.
The truth? Let's see if you can find it.
No.
You're making a ridiculous accusation, you know. How could I have possibly killed a student? I can only operate from within the courtroom.
Zero's goading me. His voice is unwavering, but there's a statement somewhere that I can use. Could I have possibly killed a student? Can only operate from within the courtroom. Yes, as far as we've seen, you can only operate from within the courtroom. But that's where the body turned up, isn't it? That much was obvious. The announcement summoned us to the courtroom, and there's no evidence of the crime being moved from one place to another.
What weapon do you suppose I could have killed him with? The only weapon available was the dagger. Say admitted to using it. And I definitely didn't electrocute or use supersonic on anyone this time around. Face it, there's nothing in the courtroom that shows I had anything to do with this.
The location. This song is lit. It's true there was nothing in the courtroom, but there are things beyond the courtroom walls. Namely, the tools used for executions that you clearly have some agency over. You conveniently admitted the cause of death because it would have implicated someone not from our group. Based on what everyone else knows, it sounds far-fetched, but to me, it was the only thing that made perfect sense. Zero seemingly had no power in the courtroom, proven by the fact that during the past 2 trials, the hologram's purpose had been purely cosmetic. That said, the machinery hiding behind the trial walls themselves could very well suffice, not only as tools for executions, but for murder in and of itself.
That's how it's gonna be, huh? So you implying I took Forte beyond the walls, executed him, and dumped the body back out? Why wouldn't I just execute him and leave his body with the rest of the punished students? He didn't do anything to receive an execution anyway. I'm not so heartless, you know. You're missing a piece of your argument. Echo, this discussion's going nowhere. What would Zero even have to gain from participating? I have nothing to gain from intervening. And in my position, I certainly have nothing to lose. If the ultimate prize is so desirable that even an arbiter of the game would want to win it, why didn't Zero simply eliminate us from the start?
Lio brought up a good point. I haven't unearthed anything useful from Zero yet. And it's within reason that if Zero wanted the prize as well, we wouldn't have survived this long. So there has to be a reason why.
Echo, this discussion is going nowhere. What would Zero even have to gain from participating? I have nothing to gain from intervening. And in my position, I certainly have nothing to lose.
Hang on. Nothing to lose. The location and method was clear to me, but the motivation stumped me. I had to concentrate. If Zero truly had nothing to gain by executing us all, why did he only now carry out a plan to murder one of the game participants? If he had nothing to gain, there must be something he didn't want to lose. Something he wanted to keep. It's Sei. He wanted to protect Sei. Something or someone. Zero and Sei, they have some sort of connection. That very connection could become the motive I'm looking for. Kanon noted seeing Forte with his dagger last, just before the lights went out. Since Sei is unscathed and the room showed no signs of gunshot in the wall, it's clear Forte must have taken the shot. If Forte had the dagger the entire time, he could have used it against Sei, and if Zero was observing his defense against her, then he would have reason to consider Forte a threat to Sei. That has to be it. It's impossible for me to insert with any certainty what exactly occurred in the courtroom. However, I can think of a reason why it happened. Uh-oh. I'm curious as to what happened to the Twitch ads. Oh, worst timing ever. I'm sorry. I should have given you a heads up. I'm gonna wait on this one. This one, it feels kind of important. Alright. This seems like it is the proper path, though. Oof. Ow. But how's everybody feeling about this trial? This is nuts. You think they're siblings, okay? I don't know if I'd say they're siblings. Or boyfriend and girlfriend. See, that one I could see, guy. We've got like a minute left to go. You know what? I'm gonna throw up a boss, so if anybody wants to join that. confused but ready to be so peeved off at Zero if he executed Forte instead of just killing him. I don't think he executed Forte. I think he used the execution materials to kill him. Alrighty, we're almost done with this ad break. Sorry guys, normally I wouldn't, but this is such an important point in the story, I think, that I'm gonna just hold out. Okay, and welcome back. Zero could technically be able to see in the dark being AI, exactly. Honestly, you're just hoping you don't black out again. Oh, hopefully, okay. I can think of a reason why it happened. Yeah, right? And it's not for the ultimate prize. I don't know, but it would be really interesting, ER. Like Lyle said, if the ultimate prize was so desirable, why wouldn't Zero get rid of us all from the beginning? In that case, winning the ultimate prize has nothing to do with why Zero acted. Although he isn't strictly a participant, he's still involved. That involvement, there's something connecting us as the participants to him as an overseer. Lyle, you have something very important that will complete the picture.
The note.
It reads, if you recognize one of the symbols depicted, then you have finally found me and are safe. Please do not speak of the note's existence. Trust no one but yourself. Lyle discovered this note in the pantry after seeing Sei duck in there for a brief moment. Sei must have known something as early as the third day. No, even earlier, since Zero's emblem was shown on the second day. It's like Kanon said. When the Killing Game announcement came on, Sei must have been clued in on the person behind it. She's known all this time and played us for fools by ducking out of confrontation.
Sei is the other insider.
Her student profile didn't explicitly document any involvement in the game, but her files were paired along with Akihiko's, the one we currently call Zero. A slice of apple pie costs $2.50 in Jamaica, $3.75 in Bermuda, and $3 in the Bahamas. Those are the pie rates of the Caribbean.
On the second day when Zero summoned us to the atrium to present a special gift, that note must have been it.
Based on what we know, it's now clear that Sei must have some insight on who Zero is. However, instead of thinking Sei was a spy within our ranks, conniving with Zero to plot against us, Zero is the one trying to bridge the gap between participant and arbiter to intervene with Sei's safety. Huh?
Wait. Even if that's the case, why would Sei go out of her way to direct the attention of implicating herself as the culprit? Isn't that action in diametric opposition of what you're implying?
No! I killed Forte! He deserved it after all!
She would be forsaking her own safety by placing the blame on herself. The false culprit, causing us to vote incorrectly and inevitably causing all of us to die.
Zero has nothing to do with it!
What Sei did to Forte during this trial was on her own volition, shattering the connection between her and Zero. If he killed to keep her safe, she completely threw the sentiment out the window.
I'm the only culprit! Vote for me!
Well, Zero, what do you have to say about all this?
You'll never know the answer if you don't vote!
If Sei confessed, what's stopping you from accepting her judgment as the truth? You want to believe your friend, don't you?
What's stopping me? I want to believe she could never do something like that.
That's it. Just like you are completely out of this world conjecture about me interfering, you have no tangible basis to trust her either. Such irresponsible thinking could lead you to an execution, you know.
Zero wasn't going to be shaken so easily, but the fact that this arguments are lofty and just as intangible gave me some solace that I could turn the trial around. I could do so by focusing on the subject of his motivation. Hi, Alex. Sei, I'm not going to vote for you. You're the only one who knows what happened for certain. So please, tell us why. Why are you trying so hard to make us vote incorrectly? You know, when I gave her the Mikan voice, I didn't expect her to fit the role so well. You can't possibly want us all to get executed, do you?
That's exactly what I want. Complete execution. Even though Kanon admitted to doing something she didn't do, I went with it for the sake of redirecting the vote.
I always come back.
Yeah. Oh, Alex, that sounds rough.
Regardless if you voted for her or voted for me, it was gonna be wrong, and we'd all face execution. And we would finally be freed from this horrible game.
Say, you can't possibly believe leading us to our demise is the right answer.
Why not? I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Pandora's gone. Art's gone. Cyrus is gone. Ashley is gone. And now Forte is gone because of me. I can't stand any of this. The pain and suffering is endless. Zero killed Forte to protect me, but I don't care. I don't know who Zero is anymore. I came all this way to find the shell of someone I knew. When will this nightmare end? When can we escape? Even if we don't kill someone, dies, and we're still stuck. We're trapped, and I'm tired of believing in something that will never happen. I have nothing to lose and nothing to gain. Why keep going? What's the point of fighting? Everyone is slipping out of my fingers, and I'll be left alone.
Alone? Say, look around you. You're not alone.
What?
You say you have nothing left to lose, but what about the people standing before you? We aren't enduring the pain, guilt, the torment of surviving for nothing.
Endurance? Survival?
Please, we can figure this out together.
It's pointless at the 11th hour. So what? Our endurance is worthless.
Say is spiraling. I need to convince her she's not alone. That this is fight worth fighting. Oh, I have to like... Oh gosh, okay. I have to like spam click this. She's going on a whole big thing.
Just expediting the process.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. Oh, okay, there we go. But a complete execution won't solve the problem. There's another way out, I'm certain of it. There must be, so please help me.
No, I can't. I can't stand it anymore. The fear of what comes next, it's all so awful. Stop letting this game drag on, I'm begging you. Forget living in this nightmare and let me go.
Forget. I want to stop this game too, but we shouldn't forget the turmoil our friends went through. Pandora, Art, Cyrus, Ashley, and Forte. We can't simply abandon our memories of them in the past. I'm not going to stop the game by voting for you. I'm not going to abandon my memory of you either.
Me? But I don't understand. After what I've done to sabotage this trial, it's hopeless.
Oh boy. This is a trial. This is a trial. It really is giving Makan. Come on. That's not true. The truth of hopelessness was staring us straight in the face. There was no denying it. But I felt a desire to combat the terror that hung over us. And above all, After experiencing what Sei did to us, out of desperation, I felt a responsibility to vouch for her innocence, the only way I knew how. Sei, you're not alone. You're here with us, as our friend. And you're not alone in feeling scared and hopeless. Everyone's trying their best to keep their head above water. I don't know what'll happen after this, or if we'll even make it out, but we have to try.
But I did such a horrible thing to Forte. Isn't this the ending what I deserve?
It's not your fault.
How can I know that?
I just believe you. Please, I don't want to see us go through anything like this again, so... You're the only person who knows for certain who the culprit is. The game will surely be over after we uncover this last truth. After all, you didn't kill Forte.
How could I? Of course I didn't kill him. I was so scared.
We've said before that we thought we were on a cruise ship, yeah.
Echo was right about the motives. The fact that little by little, everyone was being pushed some way or another into distress. I felt the pressure mounting. Who was to know what sort of motive would be delivered? I took the dagger to protect myself. I couldn't possibly know what was going on in anyone's head after all those motives, could I? I wasn't even relieved that I didn't get a motive because I couldn't help but think about everyone else's. That everyone would be given a reason to turn on one another. And when Forte said he would take matters into his own hands, I feared for my life. I froze after I slashed at Missy and he overtook the dagger. What Kanon saw was only half the story. He did appear to have the advantage over me, but it was just a performance. A performance for the only possible person in the audience. The lights went out. Darkness! Lyle's gift, direct from his fears to you. Only murder will lift the darkness. What the? Forte and I were plunged into a never-ending darkness. Even though I hadn't moved, I couldn't even tell where the floor was. But somehow he found me.
Don't move a muscle!
And it seemed he quickly took action to meet the darkness-lifting condition. Finally, Forte had the dagger pointed at my throat. I could feel the chilling cold steel just inches away. Finally, I thought time had stopped. Forte was just still as stone with the dagger poised for my end. He whispered something so low I thought I had imagined it.
A stage where every man must play a part, and mine a sad one. Ah!
Then Forte just fell. When the lights returned, I saw his body lying face up. A small pool of blood was forming behind his head. And I looked up to see the trial grounds walls close steadily, and the Zero hologram with this awful, satisfied expression. He made a gesture like he was holding an invisible camera. Zero clued me in on who he was going to mark as the culprit, even though Zero killed Forte himself. Zero planned to manipulate the outcome of the trial. I could see the trial play out in my head. Forte's gun wound would have been the decisive clue. The pool behind his head probably thought to just be from falling impact. I couldn't believe it. Forte was killed because of me, and Kanon was going to be framed because of me. I picked up the dagger that Forte dropped. If the true culprit was never going to be found, I was going to make the trial easy and direct the blame towards me so the wrongful and executions following could happen right away. Then we wouldn't have to suffer a long trial. And this dreadful game could finally come to an end. After all, it's my fault Forte was pushed to do the thing to himself. killing is the only answer here, so he was forced into a corner, using me as bait to sacrifice himself to Zero. He went through those lengths for me. Why didn't he just kill me and be done with it? I couldn't understand what happened. So, I thought if I could lead the trial to an incorrect vote, then the game would end without me having to do that terrible thing. And we'd be freed from this trap. But Zero saved me.
He took you out of harm's path. At least that's what he thought he was doing.
Say, you know he was going to try to manipulate the blame off you, so why did you still try to redirect the vote to yourself? Because I have nothing else to look forward to. I ended up here for one reason or another, and all the signs have pointed toward demise. Because even after all that, whoever Zero is, he isn't my friend anymore, and now I have nothing.
Say, you must know by now that we're here for you. Missy's right. We've been trapped, that much is certain. But we're not isolated. We have each other, and together we can help each other build up hope for escape. You don't need to act alone. Akihiko, both wanted to save someone. You don't truly think this was the answer, do you? Manipulating the trial like this, it's unruly.
Akihiko isn't here anymore. Since giving himself up to the game, his consciousness has been long gone. Being so disillusioned by the way he and his fellow Ultimates were treated, he dropped everything and let himself be consumed with despair. It's poetic, isn't it? He gave himself up because this game was the only thing he could cling to. It gave him purpose. In fact, Gaia is also holding on to the killing game. Can you really trust her? After all, she oversaw the game just as I am, before you released her, that is. All she did was watch. Watch and let Pandora die.
Yeah. Ace Markley, hi. You miss Forte a lot? Yeah. Yeah, I'm supposing he was. You have no idea the sacrifice I went through. I see that the idea you think I idled and watched her die.
Uh-huh. And what have you done since to prevent it? You didn't try to stop our assailant like I did you? So, do you think Gaia's on your side? Spouting empty sentiments and rolling over, doing nothing but watch the game carelessly take lives? Tell you what. Your friend Gaia here did something very interesting.
Don't you dare demonize what I did.
Excuse me? I never killed anyone in my game. You, on the other hand, why, you disgust me. I invited you to the open foyer doors so none of you fools could deliver your punishment.
Sorry.
So one of these fools could deliver your punishment. They have no reason to trust you after all. There are no rules, save for one. Those who kill should not get away with it. Let me give it one more try. Gaia isn't your friend. Not a chance. She's played this game once before, and will do anything to keep herself from losing going forward. And even from the winner's circle, she did what she could to gain the advantage.
Oh, we are on a ship! Fantastic.
She's the one who trapped you in the ship.
Ship?
Even if someone won this game, there would be nowhere to go. You're completely sealed in. Left to die in isolation, confined in these walls. It's crazy, isn't it? In fact, trapping you all may be a ploy for her to kill again. Why not? It'll prove once more she's deserving of being called an ultimate.
You don't understand. I did what I had to do.
Oh, of course I don't understand. You're the one giving hope to these people, yet all you've done is cause trouble. Unfortunately for you, I control what occurs in this vicious circle. And I'm using this power to keep safe. Keep me safe? You should have never brought me here in the first place. I know. I was tricked. This game is a farce. I won the killing game that preceded this one and received the ultimate prize. The prize of a lifetime of suffering.
That's the prize. The prize. Within a group of incredibly talented individuals, should someone defeat their fellow ultimate students and come out on top, their efforts and achievements would be highly prized, wouldn't they? To see who would come out on top, that was the experiment the preservation project was conducting. Fish. Thanks. You're gonna be so for real right now? And mildly random, you haven't seen LAPSE in a while, so this reminded you get on your hands and knees for Missy and Gaia. So real! This is my first experience with LAPSE. I've played all the mainline Dangan games, and this is my first Fangan. So, we're gonna be, like, this one's been good. Project wanted to gather the best of the best for the sake of the future, as it were. The Spare program has ruined whatever semblance of Akihiko remained, creating this Zero persona. Zero was the false name you ran under in the previous game, after all. No surprise to me it's being used again under the guise of a killing game operator. Despite that, Akihiko's will to protect Sei persists in the Zero memory. Forte must have taken the risk to see whether or not the entity connected to Sei would act.
I hardly recognize him anymore. His voice is the same, but I don't even know who that is anymore. There's no trace left. That's right. He's a shell of his former self. The game and all its terrors now inhabit the ultimate radio host.
Yeah, we're on a ship. Cryo, you called this episode 1. You called this like 20 minutes into the game that we were on a ship. Everybody, you know, Cryo was the first one to point that out. So good on you, honey.
Aki wanted to erase the wrongdoings he committed in this game and...
Ooh.
Batty?
Uh-oh. 815... 8... Whoa. 815165. I'm writing this down. Y'all hate Sei with an over-burning passion. Can we throw her over? I might be tempted with that. Might be a little tempted with that. Honestly, I gave her this voice thinking she would die much earlier than this in my original predictions. I'm writing this number down. Yeah, okay, Cryo. 815165 815165 0000. You think Gaia's killing him in the testing chambers? Ooh, Joey. Ooh, could be. Could be. Radio static is interesting here.
Stop!
The hologram cracked in and out. The program was fighting itself right before our very eyes. Sacrifice Sei, revive Forte. Sound fair? I think there's a good few people that would agree with you there.
Your efforts are wasted. You gave yourself up to despair, and yet you still try to deliver a signal of hope? You defied your own actions with very self-preservation actions that saved you in the last game. What happened to selfishness? I'll bury you!
The Arbiter we called Zero was fighting himself. its current form in a former form, trying to make sense of its own actions. Oh. Is that despair again? What's happening? Conflict we cannot control. I have a last-ditch effort prepared. If he cannot just overcome the darkness. The light suddenly shuddered as we watched Zero's fight unfold. The Zero entity fought its way to dominance, greeting us with its haunting grin.
Well. Guess you caught me, eh? Huh. Fine, the jig is up. I won't resist since I've been thoroughly caught in the act by some triumph of hope or whatever nonsense you want to admit. After all, I wouldn't be doing your efforts justice to keep fighting back after you went through so much trouble. It must have been some rotten luck that got you out of this one, huh? Who are you, Echo? I don't know how you, a talentless nobody, managed to realize the trick I pulled off. By all accounts, you should have been executed by now. If all went according to my manipulation, Kanon should be a pincushion, and the rest of you dropped into an incinerator. Although, what's stopping me from letting that happen? I'll execute myself and bring y'all with me.
Don't you dare.
This is the last show with your host Zero, signing off today's cast with Eternal Dead Air.
The lights bloomed violently, oversaturating the trial grounds with a blast of glaring heat.
Damn it, no!
A tremor tore through the room. The sound of metal creaking filled the halls, and the lights flickered dizzyingly as we all struggled to gain footing. Everyone, get down and cover your head and neck. We all dove to the floor, each quake jolting us to and fro with ease. Thunk. For real, though. No, at least Junko had honor about it. The shaking came down to a low rumble, and the ground eventually settled into stillness once more. The lights returned to a dim glow, and the 5 of us cautiously rose to our feet. The trial grounds were quiet.
Where's that bastard Zero?
Lyle leapt to his feet, darting around the trial grounds for signs of the Arbiter. Are you all right? A concerned, static-filled hologram of Gaia illuminated the room.
We're fine, no thanks to you.
I'm sorry. Didn't anticipate the superstructure would have yet buckled under pressure. Seeing as Zero overloaded the systems, the adverse effect of his self-inflicted execution may have sped up the process.
What are you talking about? It doesn't explain where you were and why you've never been helpful.
Lyle, come on. We're all fine, aren't we? I helped Kanon to our feet, as Missy did the same with Say. Are you okay, Kanon?
A little shaky, but I'm in one piece. Thanks.
Missy, Say. We're all right. That's a relief to hear.
So that's it, right?
Huh?
Zero's gone, game's over, we're done here, aren't we? So let's get the hell out of here.
Hang on. Sure, he's gone, but there are so many more unanswered questions. First of all, he said we're on a ship. Even if we get out, we're still stuck, drifting out on sea.
If there was a wholly unknown testing chamber below us this entire time, it's within reason that there's a hidden helm somewhere as well.
Gaia, was it? He said you were responsible for such a thing. Is this true? Gaia sighed. I'll answer your questions in due time. For now, I'd like to ask you all rest for a spell before coming down to the testing chambers. Been a long few days for you all.
What, and let you jump ship through a concealed exit passageway while our guard is down? No way.
Lyle, I understand your desire to push forward, but a break would allow us to sort through our thoughts. Please, I ain't going anywhere. I'll await your arrival. Gaia's hologram clips out as the rest of us shuffle idly. Lyle huffs and shrugs as he made his way to the elevator. You agree with the little shit? I actually trust Gaia. It looks like that was the end. There was no vote, no execution, just the end. Although Zero's destruction proved some relief, I still left uneasy. There was still so much uncertainty that was lurking before us. Gaia's just, no, I trust her. It's okay. I sighed. The rest of us followed Lyle into the elevator and together we returned to the foyer. Us remaining 5 students left the trial grounds in the shadows, for good. That would be interesting, though, Guy.
Danganronpa.
Yeah. Lyle, Missy, Kanon, Say, and myself. Only 5 of us remained. Our group, cut brutally in half by the game we were forced to participate in, found its final survivors. In that very same order, we trudged out of the elevator cab and returned to the foyer.
I'm going ahead, don't wait up. I want answers. Gaia had better fess up about all this.
Hang on, Lyle. I want to talk to her first. Alone.
Why?
I just need to know why she gave me a talent. How could she know something like that? Something I'm not even aware of. Why me? Please, I need to know what's going on.
Alright. Being an ultimate student isn't all it's talked up to be. It's a world of misfortune.
I know. Lyle shuffled off towards the foyer door's entryway. The rest of the students stood by as well. It seemed no one else was quite ready to go down. Maybe, Guy, maybe. I wondered what was going through everyone's mind right now. Say, are you okay?
I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do. I don't know anyone cared. The only answer I could see was to have it all come to an end once and for all. If we died, then we wouldn't have to suffer anymore. It would be an easy way out,
But through that suffering, we'll find things to live for as well.
I'm sorry again.
You don't have to be sorry. I understand it must have been frightening to be alone. I mean, I'm right there with you. But we're not alone now. You have me, Lyle, Missy, and Kanon.
Joey.
Say turned to me with a gentle smile. I returned the small gesture. We'll be okay. We'll make it out of here soon enough.
It's strange. When you say we'll be okay, it feels like it could be true. But what comes next?
I don't know. I want to see Ashley's father. I think I have a responsibility to tell him what happened to her. And after that, I sighed. Well, one thing at a time. Let's just try to put all of this behind us for now and focus on escaping. Say nodded.
Thank you, Echo.
Thanks for what?
You don't have to, but you care about everyone. I can see why Ashley wanted to protect you so much.
Yeah. Kanon, are you okay? The chapter 4 ended though, hun. We just saw the end screen for chapter 4. Kanon, are you okay?
I don't know.
Kanon bit at her nails, a sullen expression taking over.
Maybe it's guilt or something, but something in me wishes I actually did kill Forte.
Why?
I don't want to sit with this feeling. This melancholy I'm feeling right now. I always told myself I was just a spectator whenever I took photos. It was just easier to detach myself from the emotion of the suspect. There's something more tolerable in seeing someone else's experience what is occurring in the photo.
But it was thanks to you that we found the answer in those awful trials.
I guess.
And you didn't actually kill him with that gunshot either. Well, we didn't. No, we haven't seen a title card yet for whatever chapter we're in. We saw the end of chapter 4, but whether this is chapter 5 or whether this is an epilogue, I don't know yet. There's no reason to feel guilty.
It's not that simple.
I know. But you shouldn't wallow in those what-if feelings. It's too painful to just bottle up. You helped us out a lot, really.
I suppose, but I never wanted to get so involved.
I never got the opportunity to do this before. All this. But I wanted to apologize properly after I turned your photo down.
Don't worry about it. In fact, just forget it. I didn't particularly like the photo anyway.
No, I shouldn't have been so harsh. I stuffed my hands in my coat pocket. Huh? Somehow, I found the torn photo in my pocket. I lined the two halves together. Here, you should keep it. I know you weren't really close with anyone, but, well, I just hope you know we still think of you as a friend. Oh no, that's a scary thought, guy. Kanon carefully took the two pieces from me inside.
Thanks. Let's get out of here alive.
So, the game is over. We can only assume. Gaia probably knows more about the situation, though. It gives me peace of mind to learn that none of us would perpetuate the mutual killing game. That said... She let out a weary sigh. Even my fortitude has its limits. You say that no one will perpetuate it, but... Sei tried to further the game, didn't she? She went so far as to hurt you. Would you believe me if I said I didn't feel malice in her actions? Huh? Fear is a fiercely powerful tool that shakes us out of our most rational thought. The threat of life strikes the heart of any primal existence, doesn't it? Chalk it up to a knee-jerk reaction. I posed a potentially dangerous question that caused Sei to react sporadically. Remember, she did have the dagger for a period of time before entering the trial. She could have taken any open opportunity if she were driven by malice. An odd move, but it was her move nonetheless. And my move will be to forgive it. What move is next for us, do you think? Missy pondered the question for a minute. No idea. We will reach land, presumably with Gaia's assistance. And once we're there, a myriad of options are laid before us. Do we rejoin family? Do we make moves to seek out the Preservation Project group? Do we attempt to find the next of kin for those who died during the game? The future is uncertain. Yeah. If we start small, we'll know where to go next, though. Let's focus our energy on escaping first. I could not have said it better myself.
You going or what?
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I believe Gaia will be willing to talk, if that's what you're worried about. She's been isolated in the testing chambers for what I imagine must have been a long time. Yeah, but... do you think this all could have been avoided? There's no use dwelling on that now.
What's done is done. We should push forward.
Epilogue. Burden on our shoulders.
Danganronpa.
Here we go.
Congratulations. The rest of the class has been eliminated thanks to your tireless efforts.
So I did it, eh?
Yes, Zero. You've won the ultimate prize.
Rat-ho wasabi. Danganronpa be looking different tonight. This is a Fangan. This is Danganronpa LAPSE.
But may I ask something? Why did you use an alias? Isn't it obvious? The game's all about distrust. A fake name to stir up trouble, of course. It was too easy. I see. By utilizing that distrust, you've earned yourself the final prize, Zero. Or rather, Akihiko Quartz, the ultimate radio host. I did it! The prize is yours. You rightfully won your place, and will join your friend in the winner's circle. You have become one of them. Huh? You have become the ultimate prize. Hold on, what are you talking about? Join her. That's Gaia! This is where she's been? She's been with us, benefiting the world. That can't be right. And you will become another prized ultimate student alongside her. No! No!
Hey, Gaia.
Oh, hello, Echo.
I drifted into the testing chambers, spotting Gaia hovering over one of the capsules. A look of misery darkened her face. Are you okay? Gaia sniffed as she stared at the capsule containing Akihiko's body. It was impossible to tell if he was breathing, let alone alive.
I'll be fine. I was just recalling something.
Where are the others? Oh, they're upstairs. I wanted to talk to you alone. Gaia remained silent, awaiting my next sentence. But I didn't know where to start. She noticed my hesitance and left her place in front of the capsule. She gestured for me to sit at the workstation chair as she paced slowly in front of me.
You must have a lot of questions. But first, if you'll spare me a moment to share my story.
I nodded. I was curious to know what possibly led her to this place.
Preservation Project's killing game. Known as an endeavor to create the ultimate prize. Distrust is to be expected on day one. The roster was always specifically curated to create pairs, testing the bonds between people. The crux of the game relies on broken bonds, applying pressure and motivation to spark the fire. From there, everything following will stoke the flames and catalyze. But seeing as so many of you still survived despite the remaining time, I wonder what went differently. Nonetheless, I must say I'm pleased with the results. I realize it's very difficult to find hope in things. In the darkest times especially is when our minds wander. Thoughts lead astray, distorted by fear. As a cartographer, I create maps for places on our Earth that are far greater than my own being. The vast plains, the pulsing sea, the tunnel and caves. To search somewhere in the greater picture for an ultimate good beyond my perceived world of existence is difficult. I realize Pandora and I are different, very different. She searched within individuals as I searched the world. However, we were looking to spark and inspire the same thing. Hope. Despair will control your lives if you let fear and darkness of your heart run amok.
You allow those inklings to escape, thoughts of terror will command the reins. How are we to combat such intrusions? Well, answers may vary wildly. Nonetheless, there are strategies and resistance. So I must admit something. The very thing that might be plaguing you concerns your talent, the ultimate memory. I fabricated it in an attempt to foil Zero's preconceptions of the game's participants. My eyes widened. I had no words. The notion of an intangible talent like that was meant to play the part of a placebo in your mind. A talent Zero couldn't test the abilities of. One only you could measure. I'd hoped it'd give you some peace of mind, what with your worries of not belonging. But memory... Oh, sorry, gotta stretch. Not exactly. To give the technical term, if you had the talent pertaining to memory, you would have been properly deemed the ultimate mnemonist. However, to give a succinct title would prompt Zero to test it. I could not allow it. What kind of test would he have given? The most immediate telling test would be speed cards. You're given a deck of shuffled cards in which you recite back all 52 in exact order as fast as possible. If you were an ultimate student, that fact would have been quickly dashed or proven with one simple test. My counterattack against Zero would have failed. What? That said, I was purposely non-specific in results in my ultimate memory upon you. I had hopes it would gel with Cyrus's falsified talent of charisma. I admit it was an interesting decision he made with that one. Wait. Although I had not been speaking, I felt breathless. So, I was just a tool? I felt a stone drop in my stomach. No, tool's far cry from what I call you. You exhibited a strength I didn't expect, which was the ability to see through Zero's ploy. Strength. And more importantly, you saved your fellow students. You're a wild card. Or perhaps you do wield a special ability. You maintained your constitution even under immense pressure and stress. Stop! Gaia was shocked into silence at my outburst. Gaia, I understand that you must have been through a lot. I really do. But to manipulate me, us, around in this game as pawns, isn't that too cruel? Isn't that action itself becoming just as bad as the people who trapped you here in the first place? Utilizing ultimate students as a means to an end? You are a product of their tests. You should know better than anyone to toy with people's lives. Gaia clenched her hands together and her eyes fell into a glazed state. I could see her straining to adjust her thoughts. She blinked slowly and her gaze met mine once again. I apologize. Putting y'all through this, it wasn't meant to happen. It's true, I failed to cultivate the hope required to withstand the pressures from the killing game. I failed Aki in the end. It's not that, I think you need to take a step back. People aren't just instruments to be molded for use. As far as I've seen, everyone here, ultimate student notwithstanding, has the potential to inspire hope. But we won't get anywhere by recklessly pulling strings. Nor will we get any results by forcing a result. Gaia was silent and unmoving, as if she were holding her breath. I'm sorry. I never understood Pandora's methods. But I think I see now what she was doing. Her ways of inspiring hope would start small and would crescendo and grow into something powerful. Why did I not say it till now? It's too late to mourn the past. Perhaps some things are just meant to happen. All we can do is take small steps toward the future, each moment after. Gaia sighed and nodded. She fell into silence once again. Her expression was tight, her head wilted, heavy with regret. I think it's interesting that her, like, depressed looking face tilts to her right, whereas Pandora's tilted to her left. Or our left and our right. Where does the story move on from here? I don't know. I returned upstairs to give Gaia some time. After a moment, I ushered the others down to the testing chambers. When I came back, Gaia was back at the workstation, focused on the monitors once more. Missy and Sei lingered through the testing chambers, anxiously looking at the containment units and monitors. Sei stiffened up before Akihiko's unit, but instead of reacting in any way, she remained unmoving.
Zero said we're on a ship, yeah? So where's the bridge? Let's dock and get the hell out of here for once and for all.
If we're on a ship, wouldn't the bridge be near the trial grounds? Zero did say the trial grounds was within a superstructure.
HMCS Apothegem is much larger than you've seen. Collection of rooms you were privy to was only within the quarterdeck. There are a number of bridges scattered across the deck, as there are other rooms. I don't care about the other rooms. Just tell us where the navigation station, command center, control room, whatever it is, then. We have to steer this thing toward land so we don't die at sea. Zero said you got us into this mess, so you better help us get out of it.
Gaia was quiet. She had an apprehensive look in her eye, but remained typing at the workstation. That is, you will help us, right? Despite what she had gone through, Gaia's intentions were difficult to read. I couldn't tell whether or not she wanted to escape. Gaia directed our attention to the several monitors and pulled up several images of...
Can't see a thing in these monitors. What are you showing us? Wait, is that...
It looks like some kind of squid.
Well, that only makes sense. We are sailing on the sea.
Yeah, but why can't we see anything outside? Is this a submarine? A feeling of dread froze my blood as I gazed at the near black screens. There are no clear views outside, 'cause we're at the bottom of the sea. What? I scuttled this ship. Did what I believe would be the most beneficial thing for all of us trapped here. That can't be. The atrium and trial grounds have both revealed the changing sky to us throughout the day.
Simple glass projections. Ship's equipped with bleeding-edge technology. Should come to no surprise, seeing as its engineer is also an ultimate student. And how exactly did you think sinking us all was going to help? What were you really planning? To bring us to our death at the bottom of the sea? We've been fooled again.
It's nothing like that. This is how I prevented another group of students from falling in the hands of the Preservation Project's experiment. Gaia, tell us, what is the Preservation Project? I gulped. Even after all this time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to truly hear what the project was. Preservation Project, huh? It's a group that provides safe housing for ultimate students, protecting them from whatever could endanger them from utilizing their talents proper. That's what it is, between the whispers of ultimate students outside these walls. However, truth of the matter is that everything you previously knew about the project is smoke and mirrors. Project activities, safe house, the earthquakes themselves. It's a front for the project's true intentions, to create the ultimate student. Something of this magnitude and effect would obviously require immense resources. People responsible for taking art under their wing lobbied for the resources necessary to pull this off. And the powers that fabricated the scenario are the product of ultimate students just like ourselves. How is that possible? Thought manipulation. With the correct seeds planted, one known as the ultimate psionic was able to cause distress, pushing students towards the project's so-called safe house. The reach of their ability required two keys. Something visual, something auditory.
One of these seeds must have been the letter we all received. There was this distinct watermark at the bottom of the letter. That must have been the visual key.
And the auditory key must have been Aki's voice casting the project information out. Therefore, the reason my Echo wasn't aware of any of this was because they never experienced exposure to either of the two keys. I was speechless. So it was a mistake that I was included in this group at all. But after being here to help everyone, it would be cruel to call this a mistake. Lyle and Missy took time with Gaia to survey the settings we found ourselves in. The ship, HMCS Apothegm, was constructed with the vision of housing ultimate talent students in swathes of great comfort. The preservation project acquired it soon after its conception as the location for its experiment, a constantly moving location that would be difficult to reach by ordinary means. The conductors of the experiments were situated offshore to prevent loss of people in their own ranks. The game was to be remotely conducted with a proxy serving as the host. Zero occupied that service, offering himself to the side of despair after his own win. To combat their puppet strings, Gaia stripped the group of our whereabouts by taking control of the main asset and casting it far beyond their reach. Our underwater demise sat 3,000 meters below the pulsing icy pressure of the North Atlantic Ocean. The closest land was the shore of Greenland. The situation felt bleak, but Gaia reassured us that somehow she had prepared for this. She ideally wished to be able to save everyone. Regardless, 5 survivors was victory still in her eyes. Gaia's unrelenting search through the testing chamber's database revealed little about the preservation project's group. She was frustrated, but determined still. Though she was a winner, there had been others that had been removed from the testing chambers due to poor health or experiment overextension. Even among the array of winners, she had little company. The 6 of us were steeped in thought as Gaia continued to employ herself in her search for knowledge. But it seemed nothing damningly confidential was saved on location. Exasperated at the lack of further information on the private group that held her captive, Gaia silently threw up her arms in defeat. Waste lave. Nothing more I can do here. Wish to attack the Landsat and the other subsequent lurking agents. I nodded. Lyle managed to stay patient as long as he readied himself in anticipation to aid in proper escape. Missy returned again after a short visit to retrieve the personal files Cyrus had. Kanon was still as ever. We stood to exit the testing chambers, but Say remained lost in thought. What about him? It was clear she didn't know how to address her lost friend turned despair vessel. Gaia paused. Her heavy eyes cast a dark downward gaze. There's no denying it. Zero, Aki, is no longer with us. Her voice was stern. Gaia started toward the door without a break in her step. Wait! What is it? We ought to board the escape pod and make a hasty retreat. It's unwise to stay longer than we need to. I know, but don't you feel sad? After all, you're the one who had to stop him. That's not supposed to happen. I'll have to fix that later. I've never had that one break before. Interesting. That was my decision. I can no longer take back my actions, can I? I suppose not, but what choice did I have? There are far greater concerns that need to be addressed. Can't be burdened by such feelings, not when there's so much to be done. Gaia, I know you want to push forward, but why not take a step back and let yourself feel those feelings? I mean, you don't seem like the kind to wallow in emotion, but It would be good to acknowledge the fact that you've been trapped here without help. And now we can help you. Or at least I want to. I myself must atone for my mistakes. Can't stop just 'cause I regret my actions. Her jaw clenched as those words escaped through gnashed teeth. Who was Akihiko? Gaia's eyes softened and her shoulders fell slack as she let out a slow sigh. Just like all the others who we've lost, he was a friend. Piece of me now gone missing. These parts of me that have been carved out, the parts that Pandora called her sister, the parts that Akihiko called his friend. Those pieces of me no longer exist. Death owns those memories. Her eyes glassed over in a deep oblivion. Gaia. It's a dreadful thing I forced y'all into. No one was ever meant to bear these horrible experiences except me. You shouldn't have to fight through these feelings alone. It's my responsibility due to my failure. Shouldn't I be the sole recipient of such consequences? I would let despair destroy me if it meant I were able to command its damage singularly to one and none other.
Gaia, all your efforts would be meaningless if you let yourself be killed before making any change.
Indeed. Such a loss would be absurd if you didn't make a significant move to stop the project that apprehended you so.
And, well, I don't know what it means to you, but I still have this.
Say produced a small golden disc. So, don't let despair consume you yet. We're depending on you, just as you can depend on us. The room was still. I could hear the blood pumping in my ears as Gaia pondered her purpose. Of course. Vive la guerre éternelle. Leaving the testing chambers, Gaia led us to the elevator. Similarly to the infirmary, the opposite door of the elevator cab doors opened to reveal a long dark hallway. The six of us trudged through the industrial hallway in hushed conversation. Gaia led the way. I followed close, and everyone else was bunched together behind, as if they were still unsure whether Gaia was trustworthy or not. Gaia, I have to know something. Why did you nurse Ashley back to health just before her execution? You had to have known that she was the culprit, right? I didn't wish to leave you two on poor terms. What? I observed, if I recall correctly, that you and Ashley were on little speaking terms just before she went to confront Cyrus. Yeah, but it was clear to me that Ashley was powerfully driven, and nothing would stop her when she set her mind to something. And that something in this case was putting your well-being above her own. Why she did that, I of course cannot say. You ought to know better than I. I do. Soften the blow of the inevitable. Tried in all earnest to bring her back, to see a familiar face one more time. The hallway seemed to stretch forever. Echo. You're quite brave. Brave? In the past days, you stood tall against the face of so much anguish. What are you talking about? I'm not brave. I'm just trying to fend off these awful feelings. I can't stop thinking about what Ashley did for me. Would it not be easier to cast away the memories of those past? That's how you can... Fair, Alex. Indeed, Cherry. Forgetting what happened here would be depriving them of their last memory. I let out a pathetic scoff. Isn't it weaker to cling to outcomes that we can't change anymore? I wouldn't go that far. Fact remains, Pandora was inspired. Saw something special about you. Is that so? Like a candle, the small flame creates a vision of salvation to cut through the darkness, all while steadily burning their wax bodies away. That said, next torch awaits even the slightest bit of fire. We turned a corner and were met with a hatched door. I climbed into the escape pod. Oh. And that looks like it's the game. What a lovely game. It was cute. Nice music, yeah. It is a little anticlimactic, isn't it? Okay. Play through the credits. You think there's going to be an after credits scene? It was made by one person, yeah. Oh. The low drone of ocean water rolling against the outer walls filled the escape capsule, causing our small group to fall silent and tense.
How long has it been?
44 minutes. It felt like an eternity had passed. Say made an inquisitive murmur as she relayed the time. Gazing at one of her wristwatches, she simultaneously caught a glimpse at the killing game bracelet. I turned the chain around and noticed mine was the same. Rather than reflect the previous rose gold, our bracelets had turned a hue of pure, bright yellow gold. It seemed to notate victory from the game. No one saw any desire to make small talk during our resurfacing, as if conversation would distract from our escape. Exhaustion hung on everyone's face. Apprehensive eyes cast a dark shadow across the metal interior. Missy let out a sharp gasp. Hey, are you okay? Everyone was alert as Missy began to shake, her breathing broken. She looked like she was in pain. Oh no. Oh no, what's wrong? Then everyone else started to react similarly. My head is killing. No, please no. What's going on?
Not this again.
I was horrified. Everyone was suffering right before my eyes. And as soon as their pain began, they all fell still. No way, no way! I grabbed Kanon by the shoulders and shook her firmly. I heard small breaths escape. I looked at the others to see that they were, fortunately, still breathing. They're okay. That's the doing of the ultimate psionic. Their adverse reactions mirror the events that took place when they were captured in the first place. We've been trapped. Huh? How? Not sure. Preservation Project must be pursuing the wrecked ship. Zero must have sent a radio signal to the land site before I stopped him. But how are you alright? They must assume I'm dead. A regrettable assumption for them. I was speechless. Just when I thought it was over, a new complication threw itself before our escape. And me? Gaia looked at me with raised eyebrows. She was surprised. You're lucky. Kanon, Lyle, Missy, and Say were all in an unresponsive state. It seems they were rendered unconscious. So what now? There's nothing we can do to stop whoever's awaiting our arrival from discovering us. We're just gonna have to resurface and see what happens from there. Prepare yourself. Prepare myself. Be ready for whatever happens. Do not be idle when we're discovered. It's inevitable. The best thing we can do is be prepared. I nodded. It's true. We were going to be helpless to take action until we got out of the escape pod. I steadied my breathing and closed my eyes. I let the sound of rolling water fill my thoughts. And I racked my brain thinking about that evening. Oh, we're back to here. Interesting.
Alright, thanks for the lift. And be careful with your ankle. I can't believe you insisted on driving even though it's broken.
It's no problem at all. Besides, my ankle's almost done healing, so it's no big deal. It's not like I drive with that foot anyway. I'm just worried since I can't walk you to the door. I wanted to see if Applejack was in petting mood tonight.
My house is right there. You don't need to worry. And if she is, I'll make sure to give that kitty a good scratching for you.
Alright, thanks. Night, Ash.
Good night, Echo.
Her porch light hasn't turned on. She usually turns it on for a minute so I know she made it in, but I should get out and see what's going on. Ow! Oh, there it is. Well, time to get back. Westbridge Stables. Hello, sir. It's Echo. I was just calling to see if Ashley got in okay. I couldn't reach her cell.
Hello, Echo. Why, she's just fine. I believe she's busy with a small matter at the moment. Nothing to worry about.
Oh, can I, ask what's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. Nothing at all. In fact, it's all very good news. She was approached by a gentleman who is responsible to an inquiry in regards to her horseback riding. It's a fantastic opportunity, that one. I wasn't aware she signed herself up for such a prestigious thing. I'm told the pro golfer Ken Papiano fellow is going to be there.
I see. That's great to hear.
I'm absolutely chuffed. My girl's off to do great things, I tell you. It's a winding process, as I'm told. It'll be a while yet before she'll be able to spare the time.
I see. Please wish her luck for me. I'll have to give her a call back when she's free to hear all about it.
Will do. I'm sure she'll be over the moon talking your ear off when all the formalities have been taken care of. And Echo? I'm happy Ashley has a friend like you. Thank you for taking care of her.
Not a problem. It's the least I could do. Oh. Alright, there it is. What did that... Shoot. There we go. That's better. What did that mean? That was at the beginning? Maybe. That's the true ending in Epilogue? Yeah. I know this is sensitive. What's cuter, ferrets or chinchillas? Oh, that's such a hard question. Oh my god. Is the creator working on a sequel, Blaze? If not, then this game ended on a cliffhanger. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Mario, I don't know. I'm tempted to say ferrets, but I'm also tempted to say they're both really cute. Chinchillas and ferrets are both really cute, but if I had to go with like first like off rip ferrets. My uncle had a ferret. She was very cute, deaf and blind. And she just loved to cuddle. Let's hope that whichever Danganronpa fan made this can continue their fanfic, since it was pretty invested in this story. Yeah! It ends on a cliffhanger, regardless of whether it gets a sequel or not. True. That was an interesting ending. I liked this. It was good. I think the creator's hinting to it. Okay, okay. I think I was hoping for something a little more. I'm hoping I can get that feeling that I'm looking for in Super Danganronpa. I am thinking that we're gonna take a little break again, probably between now and the new year. Just so I can get some other games like finished and out of the way, and like do some Christmas games and such. We'll see. Want a prediction for when I hit 1K? When do you think I'm gonna hit 1K, guy? What are we at now? What are we at right now? Right this minute. Right this minute, I am at 926. When do you think I'm gonna hit 1K? Turns out Silent Night linger in the winter night by Christmas, and then it'll be a white Christmas. Your critique is a lack of comedic relief. I think it was supposed to be a heavier game. But I think that maybe it being a heavier game was not... I think that it was like not comedic enough to be a lighter game and not heavy enough to be a heavier game. So I kind of agree. I think it was like in a bad middle ground. It was more down to earth. Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I think that... I hope that the author has more time to put a little more maybe into the next one, or that like their writing style will refine a little bit. You might as well, guy. You will say the lack of stuff is why you suggested this one first. Yeah, I can take that. It's only gonna go uphill from here? Your critique is the confusion on Forte's death? What are you confused about, Joey? Cherry, I have no idea. Do you guys want to go, Twitch side, do you want to go raid another person playing LAPSE? I trust you guys to do no spoilers over here. Okay, and then YouTube side, let's see what we got going. He wasn't shot by Kanon. No, he was shot by Kanon, I think. Oh, I see where we're going this side. One of our friends is playing Banjo-Kazooie. Oh, her shot did miss? Okay. Those of you who are raiding with me Twitch side, be mindful that this person is in chapter 1. No spoilers, no nothing like that. I trust you guys to be respectful. And until next time, bye!